How you doing? Love this song.
I can't tell you what it really is. I can only tell you what it feels like. And right now it's a still night.
It's a great song, isn't it? All right, got some people logging on. Hey, Austin, good to see you, man. Hey, I want to do something that I'm going to start trying to do this every Friday if I can, and that is ask me anything you want regarding credit. I'm here for you. So I'm going to go as long as you guys have questions. So I'm going to try to do this every Friday. If you submit questions during the week, I'll try to answer them all right now. But ask me anything you want. Giovanni, you just asked me a question on my last Facebook Live. And the question that Giovanni asked was, he's got a friend, bought a car a couple months ago, lost his job, wants to know what's the best way to give the car back. There is no best way. What's going to happen if you give back the car? They're going to code it as a voluntary repossession versus a involuntary repossession. Let me break it down this way. Know anybody's ever been divorced? How about you? Have you been divorced? What's the difference between a voluntary divorce and an involuntary divorce? In the end, you're still divorced. In the end, you still went through all that drama. That's kind of the way the repos work is, yes, it's less drama. It's less expensive to voluntarily give the car back. But unfortunately, it's still a repo. Your credit is going to be impacted the same way because it's still a repo. All right, they're not going to give you any breaks. Kind of like the police, if you ever watch Cops. Hey, just level with me. This is your one chance. Tell us what happened and we'll go easy on you. What a load of crap, right? If you ever get arrested, you know the best thing you should do is just say, I'd like to get an attorney. I want to speak to my lawyer. Now, I'm not giving legal advice. I just know one thing. The cops are not there to help you out. Now, hopefully you're not breaking the law, and I'm not trying to help out the criminals, but I'm just saying, the cops will tell you they're there to help you out, and they ain't there to help you out. Katie, you got a question, or Kate? I'm going to answer that. So it says, legally, can student loans be removed negatively on my credit? I'm 2 to 5 years and 3 years. Okay, I'll get to that one. Another kid up there, or somebody else asked, how do you build credit at 19 years old? Man, get a secured credit card. Have your parents add you to their credit cards. That's a great way. In fact, I think what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to go up to my Facebook page because I'm having a hard time keeping up on the phone now that you guys are submitting all these cool questions. I'm going to look up at the computer behind me. So how do you start building your credit at 19 years old? The way you start building your credit at 19 is get your parents to add you, get a friend to add you, get a secured card, start building it via credit cards. That's the best way to do it. Also, student loans. Student loans are one of the best tools to ensure that you have credit for 20 to 50 years, the way that they report. Student loans are a great tool. So Kate says, legally, can my student loans be negatively on my credit even though I'm 5 years into 3 years of a, oh, maybe that's supposed to be 2.5 years of a debt. Well, I don't know the answer to that question, Kate. It's a great question. I don't know because I'd have to see it. Are the late payments on there before you went into the disability forgiveness program, or are they being reported right now? My guess is if you're in the program right now and they're still reporting you late, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that's an FCRA violation. I would need to see your credit report to answer that correctly. But my guess is if they're reporting you late today and you're inside the forgiveness program, they can't do that. That's my guess. I'd do some research, but if that's the case, definitely reach out to us and let us look at your credit report. Let's see here. Who else has got some questions? I got to refresh this little screen. I know there's more, but On the phone, I can't keep up. Steve says, what to do to get your credit back on track after a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is discharged? And what does Fortress do? What Fortress does to help you after bankruptcy? Cool. Great question. I love Chapter 7 clients. I mean, I love all my clients, but these are the best because we're really good at getting bankruptcies and accounts, including bankruptcies, deleted. It's our bread and butter. This is what I'm known for in the legal industry with all these attorneys, is we wipe out the bankruptcies. We wipe out all those items you file bankruptcy. We have what's called a 90 and 90 rule, which is 90% of the items are cleaned up in the first 90 days. Smoking program, right? You can hire us on the bankruptcy the moment you have your meeting of creditors. You don't even have to wait until it's discharged. I have a case that I got it deleted from all three. His name was Ken Schwartz, by the way, realtor in Fort Collins. I got all three of the reports, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, the bankruptcies removed from every single one of them in 3 weeks after discharge. 21 days, fastest bankruptcy ever got deleted. What we do to help you with that is we have our own sets. We have 5 credit cards that we can add to your credit to help build it up. And then we teach you how to build it, and we get all the accounts removed. That's how we help you. Let me see. Kate says, thanks for the... Oh, thank you so much for that nice comment. I appreciate it. Pat says, I have to do a presentation at my church. What do you recommend as the process? I don't know what you mean by what do I recommend as the process. Like, what do I recommend on, is it Keynote or PowerPoint? Or the process of doing the presentation? Or process, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Pat. It's a great question. I just don't know what you mean. If you're going to do a presentation on money, I would read, and I don't have it with me, it's in my home office, I would read Richest Man in Babylon, and I would do a presentation based on Richest Man in Babylon. I think that's your question. Let's see if there's some more questions here. Let's load them up. I don't know why Facebook does this. It hides some of these comments, so I kind of keep refreshing the screen. Pat Wiley says, I did, yes. That's the problem with some of this stuff. Melissa says, trying to buy a home, how to get my credit up fast. The fastest way to increase your credit score is to pay these off. Right there. The faster you pay those off, the faster your score is going to go up. These are the largest impactor of your credit score. The most important thing on your credit report, the most important thing to your credit score, and the most damaging of all things, credit cards. You need to have at least 3. You got to use them every month. You got to pay them off in full every month. I don't want you paying interest, but you got to use them every month. If you don't use it, you lose it. I did a video about this. It's like muscle atrophy. Well, you can have credit atrophy if you don't use your cards. Pay the whole balance. Don't pay interest. Interest is for fools. Interest is for the bank. I'm not calling you a fool, but it's a bad idea to pay interest. You heard me on my last video. I was mad because I paid $1.78 last month on a $30,000 credit card. And I was pissed off that I'd pay $1.78 because Michelle had used the card, or I used the card, or Paul used it, somebody, and just the way they coded it, that was the minimum. It was like $3 or something for a coffee. Anyway, does refinancing a vehicle impact your credit negatively? Dominic, that's a great question. Does it impact it negatively? Here's something I learned from working with attorneys all over the United States. Attorneys go to law school to learn how to say this right here. You ready for it? I'm going to save you $100 grand. You don't have to go to law school to learn what attorneys learn. You get good at saying, it depends. So your question, Dominic, is, does refinancing a vehicle impact credit negatively? Ready? Go with me. It depends. It depends on how long that car that you're refinancing has been open. If it's only been open for a year, refinancing it most likely will lower your credit score. most likely. If it's been open for 4 years and you refinance it, most likely it won't impact your credit score in a negative way. But generally speaking, when you refinance or you pay off loans early, you're going to see a negative impact on your credit score. Think about it this way. How many of you out there have kids? All right. Give me some thumbs up, some loves, some likes, some hates, whatever you want. Give me something to see that you're listening, that you have kids or you know somebody has kids. Obviously, your parents had kids if you're watching right now. But give me some thumbs up or something if you had kids. Right? There's some thumbs up. That's what I like to see. All right. Let me ask you something. Would you prefer, as the mother or the father of the potential child being born, would you prefer going full-term pregnancy or half? Do you want to go 5 months or you want to have the, I mean, it's faster, right? Baby's going to be a lot smaller, going to be a lot easier. Would you rather go the full 10 months of being pregnant or want to cut it in half? Get that miserable experience of being pregnant out of the way. What would you rather do? Of course you don't want to have the baby prematurely, right? Because a baby's not going to be fully developed. The baby's going to have problems. Problems maybe for the rest of their life. It's the same thing with paying off loans early. The bank wants you to go full term. You asked for the money. You said you wanted it for 7 years and you paid it off in 2. That's not good for the bank. And if it's not good for the bank, it's not good for you, because they're going to punish you through their partner known as FICO to lower your credit score because you paid it off early. And they can hurt you as much as 75 points or 15%, because 15% of your credit score is based on the length, the average length of credit history, how long you keep your accounts open. And if you're constantly refinancing them and paying them off and trading in new cars and doing new leases, it's going to drive down your credit score. It's one of the big things that I see on these very wealthy people that come to me that lease a lot of vehicles, is they're constantly turning and burning cars. And it just drives down their credit score. And they can't figure out why they can't get out of the 500s or the low 6s. It's because they're paying off their cars too early, or they're paying off their student loans too early. So refinancing doesn't always help you, and most of the time it's going to hurt you. Great questions, by the way. I'm going to refresh this again so I can see it on my computer screen. Hopefully the audio is okay. I left my little lab mic at home. I didn't feel like going back. Now look at this. This is funny. I just refreshed my screen. My friend Jesse Rodriguez, who also owns a credit repair company, says, paid off a 25-year auto loan yesterday, 4 years early. Did my credit score increase or decrease? What's the chances that maybe he's watching right now and posting that? I don't know, Jesse. You watching me and copying me, man? He's not copying me. Jesse's a cool kid. Very smart guy. Is debt consolidation, Andrew, you asked, is debt consolidation loan a bad thing? How does it impact your score? Wait for it. Wait for it. It depends. Right? It depends. Melissa, you said I'm wonderful. Oh, you're wonderful. Thank you. I did a presentation for Eric Howard. I work for Lincoln. Oh, that's cool. I really enjoyed that. You guys are a great bunch of people. I love what you guys do. Eric Howard is a friend of mine that works with Lincoln Heritage, and they sell final expense insurance. It's awesome. It's for people that can't get life insurance, or they don't want to go through the medical. And so there's a way for very, very inexpensively to get $15,000, $25,000 of insurance so you don't burden your family with final expenses. Great company. I highly recommend that your parents and grandparents have this. So check them out. They're nationwide. Question was, is debt consolidation loan a bad thing? How does it impact your credit score? It really depends. I personally generally do not like debt consolidation, especially the credit counselors, because all they do is they put it all in one loan. They let your accounts all go to collections. Then when you get sued, they work out an arrangement and it destroys your credit for 7 years. And they send you a 1099, and now you got to pay taxes on that money that you didn't earn. It's just money you didn't have to pay. So you get hammered and stuck with the taxes too. So I don't like debt consolidation. The other reason I don't like debt consolidation is most people will consolidate their debt to save money, and they just go right back to their old habits. Now they're saving $500 a month, and all of a sudden they have another set of credit cards at $500 a month. Now, the one debt consolidation program I do like is, of course, mine, my debt dismissal program, where I take your credit card debt, your student loan debt, your business debt, your personal loan debt, your collections. I combine them all in one loan, and then we wipe it out so you don't have to pay the creditor, and then you pay me over 3 years at 0% interest. I like that. No long-term credit damage, no 1099, no settlements, no negotiating, no dealing with the banks, no dealing with anybody. We take care of all of it for you for a low price of 45% that you can spread over 3 years at 0% interest. So that's the kind of debt consolidation I like. You can do it, but most people will not follow through. And I just don't like it. I'd rather see you hunker down, get a part-time job driving for Uber, take that extra money and pay off the debt versus consolidation. All right. That's cool, Andrew. Yeah, just get with me on that. Hey, if you guys like this video, share it. Share it out. Share it with your friends. I don't get paid to do this. I'm not charging, not running ads. I do this because I like doing this. I had today I went and deposited some money at the bank, right? There's a saying that Grant Cardone says. His friends say, hey, man, we don't see you at the bar anymore. He says, man, I don't see you at the bank, right? So I went there and I deposited some mailbox money. And the young lady, we're talking, and she's like, one of the checks was for Michelle. She's like, oh, is Michelle your wife? I said, yeah. How long have you been together? I said, like 9 years. How long have you been married? 5. Going on 6. Only seems like 5 minutes underwater, though. And anyway, she said, where are you from? I said, Colorado. I'm a retired fireman from Colorado. And she's like, why'd you leave that? I said, because I want to help more people. I want to make a bigger impact. And so that's why I do this. I want to make a bigger impact. I don't have the ego that Grant Cardone has, that he wants 4 billion people to know his name. I don't really care about that. I'd like to take 4 billion people out of poverty, right? Take a couple 100 million people here in America and have great credit. That's pretty cool. All right. Is being late on your monthly payment the worst thing for your credit? That's a great question, Blake. I think, was it Blake? Man, I hate the way Facebook it hides all these things. It depends on what you're late on. Credit cards, student loans, cars, mortgages, motorcycle loans. It depends on what you're late on. For example, a credit card late is different than a mortgage late. If you just happen to forget to pay that bad boy, that will have less of an impact on your credit than if you missed your mortgage. So it depends on what you're late on if it's the worst thing. It's not the worst thing. There's different types of late payments. Probably the worst thing on your credit. What do you think? You think it's a bankruptcy, a judgment, a collection? So let's do this. Give me a thumbs up if you think bankruptcy is the worst thing on your credit. A thumbs up if bankruptcies are the worst possible thing on your credit. Give me a love if you think the worst thing on your credit would be a collection. So thumbs up for bankruptcy, love for collection. Or give me an angry face if you think the worst thing on your credit would be a late payment on your car. So bankruptcy is a thumbs up, collection's a love, and a late car payment would be, do you see what I almost did there with my middle finger? I'd never do that to you. Or a angry face would be a car payment. All right. So we got some thumbs coming in here. We got a couple loves. Lots of thumbs. Lots of people think that the bankruptcy is going to be the worst thing. Now, there's a couple hearts coming through, okay? Good. Good. All right. Are you ready for it? Oh, there's one angry face for the car loan. It's not the bankruptcy. Bankruptcies are not the worst thing on your credit. Did I just like blow your bubble? Just like that. What's that commercial where they eat something, the head just blows off of them? Isn't it like a... It's not the car. So it's not the bankruptcy. It's not the car loan. It's the collection. Collections are the worst thing on your credit score. The worst thing you can have on a credit report. Collections are like stage 4 cancer. They're bad. Now let me ask you this. Is there a difference between a $5 collection and a $5,000 collection or $500,000 collection or $5 million collection? Is there a difference in the way it reports or the way it impacts your credit score if it's $5 or $5 million? What do you think? There's no difference. Good job, Reno. There's no difference. FICO doesn't care if it's a $5. I saw yesterday, and I won't say his name because he hasn't signed a release that I can, but I looked at this dude's credit report, and he's a very famous guy. And if I said his name, you would know who he was. Most likely. A lot more people know him than they do me. He had an $18 medical collection. $18. Now, why is a medical collection? The dude makes millions of dollars. Why did he have an $18 account go to collections? It's simple. They never billed him. It was an health insurance copay thing. They never sent him the bill. Obviously, he makes millions of dollars every year. He's very famous. You would call him a celebrity. And he's got an $18 collection on his credit report. That $18 collection has a larger impact on his credit score than if he went and filed bankruptcy for $18 million because of the way it reports. Doesn't matter if it's medical, doesn't matter if it's a charge-off, doesn't matter if it was from a repo. Here's why. Let me ask you something. If you were a bank and you were going to loan someone money, who would you rather loan to? Someone who filed bankruptcy on $18 million did the right thing, or someone who didn't pay an $18 collection? Who are you going to trust more? The irresponsible person that didn't pay the $18, or the responsible person who did the right thing by filing bankruptcy because he had to? The other thing is when you file bankruptcy, it hits one time and then it goes stagnant. Collections, they re-age every month. Every month. Okay? I'll give you an example of how collections work. I have a blood clot in my right lung. As some of you know, I spent some time in the hospital in January. I had pneumonia. It's almost gone. But I have a blood clot in my right lung. And so I'm on a very strong blood thinner. And I cut myself shaving. Not good. It bled for 16 days. 16 days before it finally stopped bleeding. Now, why did it bleed that long? Because the blood thinner, to get rid of the blood clot, it's not letting it collaborate or whatever it's called. I know I butchered that word, but I am a redneck from Oregon that went to public high school, and I can't pronounce a lot of the words in the English language, and that's one of them. But it wouldn't scab. But imagine if I got in a car accident, or I cut myself hunting or fishing or whatever, and I had a cut here and I had a cut there. I wrecked my motorcycle and I crashed. This one, I put a bandage on it and I just let it heal. I don't touch it. But this one, because I got a little OCD, I scrape at it every day and I pick that scab off. See you later, Natalie. Bye. Everybody's leaving. I scrape it every day and I pull that scab off because I don't like it. This one, I just leave it alone. Which one's going to heal faster? The one that I leave alone or the one that I'm constantly picking at? It's getting festered. It's getting infected, right? Which one heals faster? The one that's left alone. The damage is done. I put a Band-Aid on it. I leave it alone. It's going to heal faster. This, I pick and I pick and pick. It gets infected and I pick and I pick and I pick. That's the collection. This is the bankruptcy. You left it alone. This is the collection. I pick and I pick and I pick and I pick. And it's constantly irritating my credit score. Does that make sense? Did you learn something from that? I hope so. Hopefully you're not too grossed out by that. I know it's kind of gross, but I want you to remember that. I want to like sear it into your brain. Collections are bad. Worst thing on your credit. All right, David says, will paying off your credit card every month help raise your score? It depends. It depends on when you pay off the credit card. Here's why, David. Great question, by the way. It depends because if you just pay it off by the due date and they report 5 days before the due date, FICO's not going to know that you paid it off. So what you have to do is you just call them up and say, what day of the month do you report my balance to the credit reporting agencies? What day of the month? See, this dude is due on the 2nd of the month. Now, if I pay it on the 1st, but they report on the previous 25th, and after I pay it off, it doesn't get reported. But if I know they report on the 25th, then I want to have it paid off prior to the 25th, and that will raise your credit score. All right, so great question. Past taxes, Reno, that's a statement, not a question. So I'm not sure what that means, but I think past due taxes, depends if they get on their credit report. We delete taxes all the time. In fact, tax liens are the only thing that we delete 100% of the time. Bankruptcy's high 90. Everything else is 80, 90%. Collections, 80, 90%. But taxes are 100% of the time we get them deleted from the credit report. Melissa Johnson says, how do you get collections off of your credit report? Well, I can tell you how not to get collections off your credit report, and I'll actually tell you how we get collections removed from credit reports. The way you don't get a collection removed is by paying it. That doesn't work unless it's a medical bill from this year. Then if you pay it, then they have to remove it. But if it's not medical from this year, paying it's not going to do anything but pick at the scab. That's why we don't recommend that you just immediately start paying collections, because you're literally pulling the scab off of that wound that's almost healed. That collection's been laying there for 3 years. It's starting to scab up, and you go and make a payment. It's like ripping the scab off, because now they're going to re-age it and put activity on there, and it's going to show up as a brand new collection. Right? You don't want to do that. How do we get collections deleted? Let me see if I have an old credit card here. I don't think I do. Well, let me share this with you. The way we get collections removed is we look for mistakes in the way that they're reporting. For example, what I showed to this guy yesterday, the guy's making millions of dollars, a celebrity that's got the $18 collection. I asked him, I said, when did you go to the doctor? And he said, August 2015. I said, let me show you something. You see right here on your credit report? See where they say date, open date, February 14th, 2018? He goes, yeah. I said, legally, they got to put on there August 2015 on open date. But they put on there when they received the file, because they don't know when you went to the doctor. But legally, according to the Fair Credit Report Act, that date needs to be when you went to the doctor, because it can only be there for 7 years. And he's like, well, why would that matter? I said, look, by them adding 3 years to it, you went in 2015, they reported it 2018. Now, instead of it falling off 7 years later, 2022, it's now going to stay on there until 2025. So they added 3 years to it. And when they sell it to another collection, they add 4 years to it. See how that works? So the way we dispute medical collections, any kind of collection, is we look at the open date. We ask for proof. That's when they open. If they can't provide proof, then they have to delete it because they're violating federal law by reporting inaccurate information. That's how we get collections deleted. How do we get all 3 of my credit reports? That's a great question. You can go to creditmojo.com. You go to my website, creditmojo.com. We have a credit monitoring service, the only credit repair company in America that has its own, not white labeled under somebody else, their own credit monitoring service through a credit bureau. At least I'm the only one that I know of. Creditmojo.com. For $30, we'll send you a credit report. If you don't want to pay for it, annualcreditreport.com. Do not dispute anything through that website, because when you do, you opt out of them having to do anything. So annualcreditreport.com is the free way, right? And they'll mail it to you. Let's see what we got here for questions. I'm going to refresh the screen. Hopefully. Any tips on how to receive convenient checks from business credit cards? Man, Ronnie, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever received a convenience check or balance transfer check from business credit cards. I've never got one from this boy. I don't know. You know, that's something that I will tell you. If I don't know something, I'm not going to pretend that I know it. My staff asked me stuff. Andrea come in yesterday and said, what does this mean? And how do you do this? I'm like, I have no idea. She goes, well, Michelle said to ask you. I'm like, I don't know. Ask somebody else, because I don't know. I might be the CEO of the company, the founder. I don't know how everything works. I hire people that know how to do it, right? It can't be all places at all time. My job is to lead you guys and make decisions on your behalf to make things better. I don't need to know everything. So to answer your question, Ronnie, I don't know. I wish I did, but I really don't know how to do it. Let's see here. Any more questions? I don't know why it's hiding all these questions. It's so weird. I only see like 4 questions. If you like the videos, please share it with your friends. Tag people on it. If you know somebody could use some education on credit, share it, tag it, do whatever you want. It's not showing up, so let me hit the old refresh button up here. Is there a course to learn what you do? Great question. Great question. Is there a course? I don't know of any. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there selling courses. I mean, look at Ty Lopez. The dude's rich from selling courses, teaching people how to get rich. The dude's never built a successful company. He simply sells courses teaching other people how to get rich. Think about that for a little bit. The dude is rich selling courses on how to get rich, but has never built a business to get rich. I'm sure there's lots of people selling courses on how to do credit repair, but I don't know of anybody that's willing to share what they know to help other people. I mean, I'm not going to go and show you how to do it. No, I will. I'm going to show you right now. Great question. Let me show you how I learned some of this stuff. You for it? That big boy right there. I have 22 of these books. I have an entire library of this. See all those things here? See, that was Robert Sislow calling me from Grant Cardone's office. See that? That's how I learned. And that's one of 22 books that I carry around with me, and I study and tried to memorize a lot of that. So that's how I learned, and then I hired attorneys to teach me more, and then I had attorneys on my radio show. I took an attorney out to lunch today. That's how I learned a lot of this stuff. For $40, $50, I don't even know what it was, Michelle invited a tax attorney and a federal attorney who does FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act lawsuits. And we took them for lunch. I mean, I had to eat lunch anyway. Michelle had to eat lunch. So for really $15, $20, I was able to sit with an attorney who charges hundreds and hundreds, I think he's like $500, $750 an hour. I sat with him for 2 hours for $20. Not picking his brain. I don't pick people's brains. I ask questions because picking people's brains hurts, right? I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at my computer screen and it's just like flipping through the page. That's weird. Hopefully it's still working here. All right, it is. Can you post your info for us? You have to do it. What? Can you? That's weird. Can you post your info? Hey, babe, if you're watching right now, the guard shack is calling. Someone's trying to get into our highly secured fortress, and they're calling. So if you could answer for me, I'd appreciate it. I don't know who it would be. Can you post info for us? Can I post my company? Sure, I'll put it up here. That is so weird. On my computer screen, it's like flashing. www. Here's the website, FortressCreditPro.com. How do I get all my 3 credit reports? There we go. Man, that is so weird. Facebook on my computer is just freaking out. Hopefully it's working for you guys. Is there a course? I answered that one. So weird. I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, see you later, Grant. Thank you. Appreciate you, Grant. I can only see 4 questions. So let's see. Anybody else got some more questions here? Let me just scroll up through my phone since. Best ways for teen to get credit. Great question, Renee. The best way to get teens to get credit is to add them to your credit cards as an authorized user. Now, recently I had someone send me a message, said, I tried that and the banks say they won't report it. Well, that's the bank's choice. Banks don't always report authorized users. But if they do, like that one does, I add people to this all the time and to this one. These have $30,000 credit limits. There's hardly any money on it, less than $300 a month. So I add my celebrity clients, my VIPs to these cards because what happens is they get all of my history and a $30,000 credit limit in 30 days. So it looks like they got 2 credit cards at 30 grand when they couldn't get more than $500. All right. So that's the best way to get teens to build credit is to simply put them on your credit cards. Just going through these questions. What happens, Reno asked, what happens when you set automatic payments to log through government pay taxes? Well, if you set up, Reno's one of my best friends, so I want to be a smart ass. Well, Reno, when you set up automatic payments through the bank to pay your taxes, the government takes it. That's what they do. It's a great idea. Autopilot everything. That's how we do at the office here. I've never understood how employers get behind on employee taxes. I mean, you're pulling the money out of your employees' paychecks, and yet you don't pay the government? I don't get that. And by the way, usually you get punished pretty hard for doing that. It's not a good idea to do that. I mean, they're pulling the money from the employees. Why don't you just pay the government those things? So what we do is all automated. It comes out every single month. I don't mess with it. You don't mess with the IRS, right? You can legally pay less taxes, but you don't screw around with it. You just pay it. You get it together. Best way to get teens credit. Post your info. Got that one. I think I caught up on all the questions. Uh-oh. Quiet mode. That was weird. Oh, there it did again. Fat fingers, man. I think. Oh. Does it hurt your credit score? What? Does taxes hurt your credit score? I don't know what you mean, Reno. Sorry. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to go home. It's date night, man. In case here it is. How fast can Fortress delete 3 to 4 inquiries? I did not see that question. Thanks for bringing that up again. It depends. It depends. I'll tell you right now, when someone hires Fortress, we'll work on those inquiries, but not very hard. Inquiries are almost a complete waste of time to work on. Generally speaking, 90% of all inquiries are completely ignored by FICO. They don't impact your credit score in a negative way. They don't help to remove the inquiry. It doesn't really help. Now, there is a way 100% of the time to get the inquiries removed, but I won't do it because it involves committing a felony. But there are companies out there that do it all the time. There's a guy that Tai Lopez is pimping out right now. That kid, he'll teach you how to do it. He'll teach you how to commit a felony. He'll teach you how to get those inquiries removed. I just won't do it. And most of the time, it's a complete waste of time to get the inquiries removed. But how fast can we get 3 to 4 inquiries removed? Man, it depends. That's one of the first things we dispute that month. After the first month, we don't work on the inquiries. If they don't fall off, we don't work. It's not worth it. It doesn't impact you in a negative way. How it does impact you is if you're trying to get business credit and the bank that you're applying for business credit with has a 1 or 2 inquiry rule that you can't have more than 1 and 2 inquiries in the last 6 months. That's how it impacts you, is you can't get the loan. But generally speaking, it does not impact your credit score. So to answer your question again, usually in the first 30 days is when we're going to get the inquiries deleted. If we don't in the first 30 days, we don't send any more letters on it unless someone really asks, and it's usually kind of a waste of time. And I can teach you how to do it, but I'm not going to do it because if I did it this other way, it could be committing a felony. You can do it, and if you want to do whatever you're going to do, then you do it, but I'm not going to do it. It involves police reports, by the way, and fake CFPB complaints like Mr. Tai Lopez is encouraging people to do. I like my freedom. I like my wife and sleeping with her at night, and have my dog cuddle with me on my couch. I don't want to go to jail and have free room and board, if you know what I mean. Bill Crane, how to build business credit? I want to buy an apartment complex. Great question. If you'd like to learn how to build business credit, RondyLambert.com. I'll post it up here. RondyLambert.com. Why did that do that? Oh, because someone else shared this video. RondyLambert.com. We do business credit. And we teach you how to build business credit. Step by step, move by move, holding your hand the entire way. And we put your info in, click submit, and it goes and searches 165 banks and will tell us right then and there what bank will loan you money, will give you a line of credit, will give you a credit card right then based on what we put in without pulling your credit, by simply knowing what kind of business you're in. Like, Bill, I can get you 350 grand like that, man. If you're serious that you want some cash, Bill, send me a text or a direct message. I can get you $350,000 in about 12 days. If you're serious that you want the money. We're doing it all the time right now. So the best way to build business credit, we have it. We have a whole platform, step by step, move by move, hold your hand through the whole process. And I'm getting ready to drop the price on it significantly. So if you're interested in learning how to get these little guys, no prepaid spending limit, no preset spending limit, first class, business class throughout the world for your partner for free. Like if I want to take my wife to London, I buy me a ticket, she goes for free through that bad boy. You want one of these. They do a lot of really cool things for you. But if you want to learn how to get that, RondyLambert.com, click on business credit, send me a direct message, and I'm getting ready to drop the price. I haven't set up the new shopping cart and Infusionsoft for that, but it's a cool program. We've been doing business credit now since 2011. So 7 years I've been doing it. Let's see, any more questions up here? Benjamin says, I'm ready. You ready for business credit? That's cool. Yeah, send me a message on that if that's really what you're saying. Gus, definitely there after my personal issues are resolved through Fortress. That's cool. What else we got? Both. You want business credit and personal credit? We can hook you up on that. FortressCreditPro.com. We can do a consultation tomorrow if you want. Oh, my wife is texting me to come home because today is Friday date night, and I'm the last person in the office. Sometimes the first one in, sometimes the last one. More often the last one out. You know, I had to do dishes last week. I had to do dishes. I had to empty trash cans today out of the bathroom because it was full. And I had to go get toilet paper because the last dude that was in there didn't go get more toilet. He used it all up. Sometimes as the leader, you can't just boss people around, right? You got to be a servant leader. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Gus. You know, Reno, I'm not riding next weekend. I'm kind of scared. And I really want to go ride my bike, and I want to go do some stuff because the weather here in Vegas is just absolutely beautiful. But I went and met with a blood doctor, and I'm kind of scared to do anything that potentially could cause me to bleed. You know, it's one thing to ride the motorcycle and crash, but with the blood thinners, man, when I met with the doctor last week, he said, probably don't want to be riding your motorcycle. You crash, you might bleed out before the ambulance even gets there. You know, if I break my arm, I have a compound fracture. I literally could bleed out and bleed to death from a broken arm. Now, yes, I can get in a car accident in my truck, but I'm going to be a lot safer on my truck than on the motorcycle. And then, you know, he asked about the airplane. I'm like, well, if I crash the airplane, yeah, it probably ain't going to matter much. But if I fall down on the motorcycle or a car pulls out in front of me, road rash, I could literally die from just road rash. So I'm going to hold off on riding my motorcycle for a little while. Excuse me. All right, I don't see any more questions here. I am the owner, janitor, and dishwasher. That is true. Oh, here's a limit on being an authorized user where it stops affecting the FICO score. No, there's no limit. That's a great question. Pizza guy Ryan. Ron, is there a limit on being an authorized user where it stops affecting credit score? No. Not that I'm aware of. The more credit cards you have, the bigger your credit file, and the better your credit score is. All right, look at that. You are requested for hot chick date night. Get off your computer. All right, I got to go. Until next time, make sure you pay your bills on time. If you need help with your credit, go to fortresscreditpro.com. We're here to help you. If you want to build business credit, go to rondylambert.com. Click on the business credit. We're here to help you. And what else? Oh, if you have any questions, simply send me a direct message, a DM. I'll answer them. And until the next live, I'm going to try to do this every Friday, by the way. Just answer your questions every Friday. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Make sure you share this video if you find it valuable. If you find my videos valuable, please share it. Help everybody else out because it's going to help me help more people. And I want to help you help more people. So I'll do whatever I can to help you. Please help me reach my goals by helping more people. See you later.